And welcome to FRL Sprint Sunday, round 6, around one of the oldest tracks in the world, but everybody's favourite, Silverstone. And we're here to bring you all the action. That's me, the Wifafa, and my good friend, Retro Ghost. How are you, buddy?
I'm all very well, thank you, buddy. So unfortunately last week I did miss out, but it was because I was racing around Silverstone, getting some in real life practice for when we tackle it on Taco Tuesday.
Absolutely, you need all the practice you can get. But then again, I hear you get plenty of practice on this game, on this track, Retro. You got all the hours in.
I'm not going to comment without my lawyer present.
But yeah, here we are. We've got Kravek in the Silver Division out first, and as he comes through Stowe and round Club and onto the Hamilton Straight, and he'll get his lap started a little bit further round. Unlike Formula 1, we started the old pit straight, which is the current pit straight in GT3. So a lot of drivers just coasting around now. I don't think there's any silver drivers left to bring themselves out on track. No, that is all silver drivers out on track. Thank you for the first person joining us. Bring everybody else along. We'd love a party. I'm going to try and stick on this broadcast cam for this evening. Try and eliminate the helicopter noise that you've all been so accustomed to. It's not too bad a broadcast cam, this one. You can actually catch a fair bit of the action. But Silverstone is lovely like that. It's lovely, wide and open, and you can stick the cameras quite low and still capture an awful lot on the screen. If at any point you guys feel like I need to be covering a bit of a wider shot, let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to open that up for you. Now, for those who aren't too familiar with FRL, we run absolutely everything that you could possibly think of, anything your heart could desire in regards to esports racing. Thank you very much, Retro, for letting us know. Everything, whether it be iRacing, whether it be Assetto Corsa Competizione, Assetto Corsa on PC, whether it be Gran Turismo, Formula 1. I believe we're also opening up WRC. Somebody might want to correct me on that, but I believe we are doing so, as we've got Kravik just going through Beckett's now and into Chapel, and he's going to head down the Hangar Straight. So anything your heart could desire, I'm sure we can get. If you reach out to us in the comments, I'm sure an admin can pick you up after the stream and send you a link to the Discord where you can get involved in everything you could wish to.
But following on the mention of admins, say we will be blessed by the presence of G Brown at the half time. Say just before, in between the middle of race 1 and race 2, to give some more spicy updates of what the season calendar may entail for these drivers and what they're doing, some of the background stuff. Say they did mention, well, I did mention during Spa that they've revamped the ticketing system so drivers can have a bit more of a debate and a debacle with some of the stewards of who's right and who's wrong. You can't go invisible on track, but unfortunately incidents do happen, so they will get a lovely bit of entertainment from G Brown at the halftime interval. And say, guys, if you aren't already, do check out the server if you're not already a part of it. If you want a link to Discord, say G Brown will quite handily dish those invites out like free candy at Halloween to get you plugged in to the server and also the patron to support the server to get these guys racing around every week on some fantastic servers. And obviously it all has to come from somewhere, but say we do have a great lineup this evening. The Sprint Sunday, Silverstone. I was there last week, but the big difference of these guys in GT3 cars can go a bit faster than my clapped out Ford Fiesta. So we're going to soon find out.
Speaking of a little bit faster, there we go. There's the first time on the board, a 1:59.1 from Kravek, and following him over the line is Richings with a just over the 2-minute mark. Nearly 2 seconds down there. Coming from the line, number 77 of Grave in the Mustang, going quite wide as he comes across the line, which will invalidate his lap. So no time set just yet. Car number 666, Mr. Reville, he'll correct me quite happily. Puts himself P2 by only the smallest margins, 75 thousandths of a second. Coming towards the line as well, 211 of BTK. In a blinding white Mercedes, blinds the second row.
I think I'm going to put my sunglasses on for that Mercedes there, buddy.
It's bright, isn't it? He's been brushing his teeth.
So I know Gedman likes a bright car with the tennis ball yellow Porsche, but Jesus, that is a ice white rapper style teeth whitening set for a Mercedes.
And we have Coppens just popping himself up the grid in P8. We've got drivers starting their lap, so about car number 22 of Handley in a very French looking Ferrari. Oh, there's a bit of a snap as he comes round Luffield. As he comes towards the exit, round Woodcut.
Oh, we do have car 134 at the end of Cops.
And Handley.
That's G Brown that doesn't have quite his tennis ball yellow Bentley. Or his Dayglow yellow, sorry, as he calls it in the Bentley.
I've lost him, where is he? There he is. Oh yeah, still bright. Well, it's definitely more tennis ball this week. So we'll make sure to lead him into the commentary box. Hopefully with a splash, not a crash. And thank you so much everybody for joining us nice and early. I'm sure this are just people listening into the timings, potentially. Everybody likes a hot scoop.
Oh, I just saw that comment, I missed it, from the man himself. Ardin in that Neapolitan Porsche, as I call it.
So, and Revel takes pole, gaps himself from less than a tenth down to 2 tenths ahead, as he's going to come across the very dark coloured brown coming through Beckett's now.
That's definitely going to be track limits there from the admin, but he does his very best to dive out of the way and take the emergency runoff through Maggots and Beckett's. He's now got a McLaren also coming very fast up behind, but you do have Kyle,
Schmidt.
I think, just dived out the way.
Yeah, we've got Schmidt coming across the line. Improves his time by about half a second. Go back on board with car number 22, Handley. He had that snap earlier on in his last lap, but as he approaches Luffield, or Brooklands End Luffield, as he gets that snap once again, the Ferrari not that planted comes there. Or is he just going a little bit too deep, do you think, Retro?
I mean, having raced this track, I'd say once again the difference of a tatty old Ford Fiesta, as many people call it, the difference of rear wing or lack of rear wing on a Ford Fiesta. I have lost the rear end a few times on Maggots and Beckett's, but not quite Luffield, but it does look very daunting on track.
It does indeed.
But obviously I don't have racing line in real life, so I don't know really how I'd compare to in-game to real life.
I think you've got it burnt in your eyes like when you look at the sun without sunglasses.
Just do it in my sleep.
So as we pick up Richings in the black with the pink and gold, pushing themselves towards the line in that Mustang. What can he do? No improvement as of yet.
It's only the shame of when racing this track, you only get to do the national circuit and not the full GP circuit.
As we pick
so
up,
it might be about 3 to 5 business days for me to do a lap in a Fiesta.
And we have Graith, who pops himself from no time to P9. Molnix, in a very, very tasteful looking Ferrari, puts himself up into P4. The top four starting to gap themselves from 5th downwards.
Gedman does improve slightly, he's put himself P5 in front of Brown. So battle of the admins at the minute.
Battle of the admins indeed. Schmidt, who finds himself bottom of the pile at the moment, will be hoping to improve, absolutely. He's not too far behind Coppens, but he's quite far off Lilleholt in P11. Puts himself well ahead by about a tenth of Lilleholt, so does make that jump necessary. What about Richings, who we can pick up going through? Let's find my map.
So coming into Village. So very big, that Mustang round in these tight parts of Silverstone Village, making his presence on the track very big, very difficult to get cars side by side or going to try to tackle that Mustang during the race. He gets the power down very nicely, getting towards the straight. And so the Mustang's no slouch down straight, using all of the ponies under that bonnet.
The ones you can and can't see, as you can see one just in the grill there. So round Luffield, the long, aching turn, hard on the lock, but try and release and get on the power. As soon as you can see the exit, powers out, cut this inside as much as you dare. Doesn't take as much as I've seen some. Does he improve? No, he does not.
So next car to come to the line is Grafe in the other Mustang. Can he improve on his time and beat the other Mustang? Just needs to find just under 4/10 or 3/10.
No, no improvement. The track is reading as optimum at the moment, so we do expect
41.
some.
Molnick's just going to come round as well. Doesn't quite get there though. P4, always going to stop on track. He best return to pits quick. He does.
As we are now starting to get
Brown.
More people come around, maybe a slight refuel and back out on track. BTK blinding my eyes. I won't break out into any weekend, as I would keep referring to that car.
There's a third Mustang, I didn't see that. Sneaky, sneaky. Lily Holt in that lovely all black but accented goldy coloured livery. Very nicely done.
That is very tasteful for an American car.
Very tasteful because it's easy on the eyes.
It is.
Doesn't need sunglasses.
Going straight from from that Mercedes to that car, my eyes all contrasted. I feel like I need to cover one eye and swap.
It's like that thing from the BBC, isn't it? Night time, daytime.
So about 248 of Kravik.
Oh, he's just invalidated.
Oh no!
I just saw that little circle change from grey to blue. It means you've invalidated, son.
Catch up with some of the notifications that are trying to play me, making sure everything is okay. So I do apologise throughout the stream, guys. If Retro has to correct my corner names around this track, he's much more quick on the draw with Silverstone as he knows it so well.
That's the only thing I am quick at, Silverstone. Yep, don't worry about the driving.
So we catch Grafe once again. Mustang is getting a hell of a lot of airtime.
Who's that? Sterneman? Sterneman? That is. Am I going to butcher that Sterneman? Oh, no. It sounds like that thing from the. Oh, I've forgotten it. No. We'll have to try Google it because
I think it is Sterneman. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Car 134 of G Brown puts himself into P5 and really closes himself on the top four. What originally was quite about 3 or 4 tenth gap, he's closed that right in. And now only 4/10 off the lead.
And you got Schmidt now coming around Luffield to hopefully improve on his time. He does need quite a bit of an improvement there to take the fight to Handley, who is a second quicker than him.
And no improvement.
We do have Mr. Revel, currently P2.
And he's got a bit of a slipstream from Handley.
I'm sure he's going to be showing his love and passion towards a fellow Ferrari driver. He is loving Ferrari at the minute, even though he drives a McLaren.
May have the number of the devil, but I can assure you he's trying to be a speed demon as he cuts through Luffield and through Woodcote, and
he does.
He does. Oh, the similar margin that he took pole initially, 77 thousandths of a second, and that is his qualifying session over. And he leaves it to the pro drivers.
Pro drivers are going to slip their way out onto track.
But I can't help but notice, I think G Brown is finishing a lap, so we'll stay on board with him.
Gedman and Brown.
Still going. Battle of the Admins goes all the way down to the wire as he bounds that black with neon trim Bentley through.
I would say it's like Battle of the UV or Battle of the Brightness.
He's very happy when the suspension does drift a little bit wide, but that means he'll get a nice slingshot entry into Woodcote. Cuts it as much as he dares. Pins it tight, doesn't let the car wash wide, goes P3. Well done.
So he just jumped on board with Gedman now. The Porsche there looks a little bit unsettled through Luffield, but does keep it on the circuit.
but doesn't
quite
improve.
improve in
Crucially,
timeless
that
time,
puts a few cars between himself and G Brown. Not what I'd have wanted. And Brown still seems to be going round.
So the first pro driver out on track is Damrat in the very bright looking McLaren. So car 19, Simon behind him. So Simon, I think, is a seasoned driver in this server. So very nicely looking dark green and gold.
So we do actually have Sharp, who's already been round on his outlap, that's closing on this pack of cars on their outlap. So he will be the first one to set a lap. Or will it actually? No, it'll be Eden. Doesn't look like he's moving too fast. I think he might invalidate. So we've gone back on board with Sharp, who looks like he's going to be the first one to set a competitive time in the yellow with black and blue trim McLaren. Flies through Stowe. You can go quite heavy over that curb. I think it can be a bit more lenient than that on occasion, but he doesn't take the risk in his qualifying lap straight away once they get a time on the board. As he goes through Club Corner onto the Hamilton Straight. Avoids a Jean Zhou kind of crash. Keeps the car pinned and level. Doesn't let the car wash out wide. Comes into Village and the Loop. Teeters the car around. Get your nose in. Get the car straightened up and plant the power. You can cut this. Even in GT3 cars, absolutely flat. As he goes through Aintree. Powers all the way down to Brooklands. Throws the car in. There's a few different approaches you can take to this one. Chooses quite a neutral line through there. Takes a look at the inside curb in. That's okay. It'll reward him in line as he gets the exit. He has a little bit of a twitch. But now we can really get the power down. Cuts Woodcut. And over the line he goes. Puts himself P7. We have M. Grayso previously. It's him. And Sween, who now takes pole in the black and red trim McLaren. Next cross line is Fleury, who is 3 seconds off the pace for now. Oh, and another bright one. Damrat, who's giving who's giving Brown a run for his money. Not Brown.
Maybe they thought it was the anticipation for the night race or the darker visibility in the station early. Maybe they thought they put a brighter car on to make themselves easier seen.
All self-promotion. And yes, Gordon, we will see you very, very soon in between race 1 and race 2. For those who are driving or just spectating, make sure you tune in. That's fantastic effort. Way to to establish himself before he can come in all bright-eyed and happy as he comes into the comms box for the first time in Sprint Sunday. Damrat, who's just entering Brooklands now. Another one that's letting the car having to switch back. It's not something I quite fancy there. Do you know, I like keeping the car slow and then cutting across the track to hold the speed and keep a line. But each their own. Damrat cuts the corner and puts himself P1, cuts off Sween at the top. But then Simon and Naisbitt has had to. So Naisbitt looks like he will not be setting a time, as informed us by Gordon Brown. But Simon setting a 58 flat. Fantastic time by him. But Ronda coming around the final corner hasn't improved this time.
Just noticed as well that we don't have a few household favourites tonight. We are lacking a few drivers.
You can never be sure in these summer holidays. They all slack. Everybody goes home and spends time with their kids and stuff.
I know. Being sociable to the missus, honestly. I
Making
mean,
making fresh food.
well, I mean, I don't do that, but we don't have Kaufman, we don't have Moller that I don't see.
But Damrat, who's gonna be the next one to set a lap, we've picked him up about 2/3 of the lap. He's just about to finish sector 2. He's currently half a second off Simon, who's really laid the marker down with that 58 flat. It's going to take some beating.
So Damrat's got to be careful because you might end up giving Simon a tow down the straight.
Yeah, all the improvements he's making. Just go back to Simon. That is a beautifully designed Porsche. That is a beauty. As we catch Damrat sliding around Luffield.
Oof.
Yeah, I think he's backing out of this one and into the pits he goes. Simon, what can he do? Is he improving? If he gets into the 57s, we can go mad here. Is he does? 57.9, what a marker. M. Grace pulls himself forward as well, puts himself P3. What about Sharp? P2. Still 4.5 tenths down from Simon. Great effort from Sharp, but Simon has gapped himself.
Din has now just put himself P5. He's changed his Porsche up this week. It's not as Neapolitan as it was last week.
As Ronda has just found himself up in P9. 369. And Tenori, he's got a bit of a toe. Oh, well done. Puts himself P7. I tell you what, Pro Division is really locking out the front this week. Revel has not quite punctured that Pro bubble at the top.
The car 884 Eden in the Ferrari.
Improves slightly, goes
Crosses the
P14.
Yeah. Just jumping Clayton, who's just in front of him on track. Next car to come to the line once again is Simon, whether he can improve on that absolute mighty lap of a 57.9.
I mean, what a lap. Simon, I'd love to see that one posted in the server. Any of you guys, if you're particularly proud of your laps, make sure you can post it in the clips that are made available to you in the server. You can post them on socials. We can get it out there, spread the good name of FRL and the good work that you guys, the drivers and the admins, are doing in organising this league. And don't forget, subscribe to the Patreon if you'd like to help out with all the happenings that goes on in FRL.
And don't forget the commentators. We're awesome too.
So Simon pins himself to the wall and he does improve again. Oh my, he's 7.5 tenths to Sharp now. The 57.
Sharp is behind him though. Just gonna cross the lines, he gonna improve?
He does,
but not enough.
What, I mean, what is he? How does Simon keep doing this?
Well, car 133, Mr. Din puts himself P3.
We've got Ronda coming around again.
Ronda. Is it going to be Ronda Rousey?
No, he doesn't have to fight this time around.
Unfortunately not. That wasn't a knockout or a tap out. We've got car 500, Jay Clayton in the black and white Ferrari with blue accents. Trying to keep it pinned through Woodcock. Using all of the curbing. I'm surprised that wasn't a cheeky invalidate there, but puts himself P10.
Absolutely. Next one around the track is Sween with what? Do you know what? There's nothing quite like a black with a red accent liveried car. It's just my thing. I think if I won the lottery tomorrow, like a big win, I think all my cars are just black, red accents, black, red accents. Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Oh dear, what a shame. I've just had a message come from Mr. Revel and his wheel has reset all of his settings. That's not what you want to find out race day.
Absolutely not. I mean, we raced with him later on, earlier on in the week, and his spring came out of his pedals, and now his wheels reset. He's having a dire time.
You couldn't write it, could you? Zandvoort turn 1, no brakes. He was having to use the clutch pedal on his wheel to brake.
So
do
we
have
catch Simon
car
diving into the pits.
37 Sharp.
So Sharp, the
Come
closest
round
challenger to
Woodcott.
Simon. Coloured like Wolverine. Can he scratch Simon off the top? No, he cannot.
Got Din, can he improve?
No, still no
he
improvement for
can't.
Din.
Ronda's going a bit slow, not quite sure why. Maybe tapped himself out.
No, I think this is warm up because he's going to go in his final lap. He's going to cross the line for the latest time.
M.
Bit of
Grace
spacing.
behind him as well. Jay Clayton also catching. Eden as well. And it also is car 43, I believe.
So Clayton is going to be the next one to have a stab at a lap. How is that valid? But it is. Beats Sturneman by 0.02 of a second.
I'm saying El Prentice has got his work cut out for him. No laps set. At the minute, Omram didn't set a lap, Naisbitt didn't set a lap. Maybe they're serving some penalties that we're quite unaware of.
So this Lamborghini looking a little bit washy on its suspension around Beckett's, making me not look forward to it when we race it on Tuesday.
Sween in P3 at the minute, coming around. Orno dives into the pits. I thought he was going to make an improvement on his time there, but Din coming round Village.
So just then on board with,
and just then Aintree to the Wellington just straight.
Just then on board with Prentice at the moment. The only driver bar a few not to set a lap. The only one out on track who's not yet to set a lap. Man who's usually around top 5. He's still got about half the lap to go. He's got Eden for company behind. Eden, who's put good times in so far. He's currently sat in P13.
What can Din do? Woodcott cutting as much as he can. Can he improve? No, he can't. Stays P4. Car 80. Damrat behind. Is he going to improve? Yes, he does. Switches places with Din. Ronda Rousey coming round the final corner of Luffield. Round to Woodcott. Keeping it pinned in that very, very bright white McLaren. Doesn't improve. P11. Car 14. M. Grace. No improvement. Car 500. Clayton. P7.
Yeah, that's about where we expect him. And Prentice jumps to P16 at the end, at the last gasp. So there you have it, guys. There is your times for qualifying for your Sprint Sunday, which is going to set the grid for both race 1, which is 20 minutes, and race 2, which is 40 minutes. So there is your silver tier and how they stack up, with Revel taking pole by only 77 thousandths of a second. And it goes to the overall with Simon, Sharp, Sween, Damrat, Din, Grace, Clayton and Antonori locking out the top 8 with only Revel tailing them. And then Sterneman, Eden and Ronda not too far behind those times of Revel and Sterneman.
I think I've still got to commend Revel for doing that sort of time if he hasn't got any wheel settings set, a broken pedal, a damaged ego, but he's still winning class at the minute.
Oh, the drama. So we are just going to wait for the drivers to adjust their fuel for this race. Maybe a few slight setting changes, make their setups a bit more safe, so they can drive around with a bit more confidence, make moves, be off the line that they've held so carefully through the qualifying. But no, thank you everybody so much who's tuned in so far this evening. It's one of our better attendances on the YouTube channel. So thank you very much. Let us know if there's anybody you're rooting for, anybody you're rooting against. If you've got any predictions, anything that you've put money on, if you could, not that we condone betting in any way. Yeah, let us know. Any predictions whatsoever. Good, bad, ugly, evil, cruel. We'll hear them all. As we have just everybody sat in the pits. And we'll slowly wait for this to roll over into race 1. Have you got any predictions, Retro? Anybody that you've got around that think might move forward?
I don't know. It's too early to tell.
I mean, without sounding horrible, I do highly suspect Revel is probably going to go backwards with his problems that he's having.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I mean, he doesn't
this
have
is
to.
why
He
he's
doesn't
here to
have to
prove us
pit.
both wrong.
He doesn't have to pit. He doesn't have to adjust his pit settings.
As it stands, though, just flicking through some of the standings, P. Moller is currently winning the Pro tier for Sunday. He's got he's got a 19-point lead over Sharp at the minute in P2. Luke Prentice currently has a 7-point gap to P2. So it's all to play for. Sween slightly behind, 3 points. So in the Pro tier, quite nice and tight. So don't forget we do have Silverstone today, Monza next week, I believe. Monza Bathurst. And then we do have the extra Laguna Seca as well for the Sprint Sunday, because obviously we missed it for the Euros, and to be honest, it wasn't worth missing. Yeah, we could have had some fun and finished on a high, but you know, England just does what England does and doesn't do anything.
Bottle
and
jobs.
Last. Yeah. So as it stands for the silver tier for Sprint Sunday, Mr. Revel is leading by quite a margin. Tabbers is in P2 with 288 points, and Mr. Revel is leading with 324 points.
So not.
Stu Rogers is on 280 points, who's only 8 points behind P2. S. Grafe is only 6 points behind a top 3. Krivek is also 10 points behind P3, so it's all nice and tight as well for the silver tier as we do come into the final couple of races of the calendar. So please guys, do make sure you do get involved in the server for Discord, get signed up for next season so we can have the absolute comedy of commentating over your racing and me butchering your names.
Yeah, we try not to, but ultimately when Retro gets it wrong, I love to laugh.
Just like you mispronounce cars.
Yes, you can laugh. Hey, some cars need to be a certain colour, alright? There shouldn't be. Some of the cars shouldn't be certain colours. Like, there should be no red anything unless it's a Ferrari.
I'm just gonna stay out of this.
20 seconds.
But yeah, also guys, for our sake as well, like, subscribe, share the stream. Get as many people watching as possible. It's great entertainment. We try and bring it with our voices. If you don't like listening to us, mute us. Watch the cars go around. They're just as fun.
Yeah, that's the best bit. That just those commentators are noisy. I can't concentrate. I want silence when I'm racing. Oh God. Well, we are doing a full formation lap for Silverstone.
Absolutely. So it's one of the medium length tracks in terms of actual. Sorry,
stop it.
In terms of actually time going round in comparison to how long the track is, but when they're just coasting round at this slow speed, believe you me, it's a long one.
I mean, them on a parade lap is probably quicker than me driving Silverstone.
I mean, I heard a stat somewhere saying that when Lewis Hamilton blew his tyre in 2020 and he did the final lap, he still did it 10 seconds faster than one of these cars.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy. But it requires a significant amount of skill to drive these cars. They don't have the aero stability that F1 car has. It doesn't have. It's not 2 meters. They're not 2 meters wide, 5 meters long. They're not sat scraping their bums along the floor. These are production cars adapted to run on circuits. It takes a real challenge to drive these cars, especially with some of the settings that these guys have turned down to find that extra tenth to beat their opponents.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see some of the stuff that drivers will choose to gain an advantage over their opponents. Every second, every tenth, everything counts.
Unless you're choosing the Audi GT4, that nobody should drive that.
No, not especially the Maserati as well.
Or the Maserati. Or the KTM.
I was going to say the KTM, yeah.
So I'd like to think a rolling start at Silverstone will be a fair bit safer than a standing start, as most formulas do. Gives people a chance to sort themselves out a little bit rather than just straight drag off the line. I'll say it once again, that is a fantastically well designed car from Simon. I do like the forest green and gold.
I will say though, I don't remember the last time I actually raced Silverstone, but it's interesting to see where the last cars are going to be when the green flag's waved. Are they still going to be round Woodcott, halfway round Woodcott, nearly towards Luffield, or are they going to mostly be down the straight?
I mean, they are going to double up. They are in single file at the moment, and they are going to double up. So maybe we can see down the Hanger Straight what that then goes on to look like. But I take your point, there's every chance.
I'm going to interrupt you there, mate. That's not Hanger Straight.
No, we've been there already, haven't we? This is
This is the Wellington Straight.
Wellington Straight. It's the only thing that's actually not marked in my book.
That big old cheat book of yours hasn't got the Wellington Straight.
It's got Aintree and then Brooklands as the corners.
Unbelievable.
I might have to write it in with some felt
permanent
tip.
marker.
Permanent marker, yeah.
But speaking of the right corner name, Simon is now just coming round Luffield. Meep says, call yourself a British citizen. Oof.
Says the man who flies an Italian flag when he's British.
Oh, no, we're commentating. Put your claws away.
Gotta call it out when I hear it, see it, or smell it. But here we are. They are out of Woodcote, so that's good. And we're going to get 5 green lights very, very shortly. As you can see them all appear in the background. Ready, and away we go. Sween ducks to the inside, gets covered off by Simon straight away.
All his cars in the wall towards the back there.
We're going to stay on board with the leader.
Big contact, turn 1.
Looks like people are getting away.
Contact everywhere.
Oh, as further back, is that Damrat cutting across the chicane and rejoins just ahead of
Schmidt, but he's parked on the
just
corner
ahead of Grace.
Not moving.
Simon has got Sween all over the back of him. Sween elects to go fully outside into as he gets around into Stowe. Will he go too deep? No, he doesn't. Gets just over the curb. Oh, I've lost. This is why we don't change the cameras. Yeah, Simon does get overtaken by Sween. Sween, who does get over the curb and around the outside into Stowe. But can he fight back, or will he have Sharp attack him just as he attacked previously? Sween defends aggressively. I noticed that car 666 of Revel has worked his way down the pack as expected with the issues that he's been having. Simon looks to throw a move to the inside. Nothing doing as of yet. As he fire onto the Wellington Straight. Simon gets a much better exit with the traction of that Porsche. Picks up the switching, moves to the inside, Sweden covers it late. Simon looks for around the outside. Sharp has to dump the anchors to stop running into the back of him. As they round Luffield.
Moved on the inside of Revel there, but Revel fending them off very nicely. Krivek and Sturman.
Oh yes, Revel has big damage on his front. What can Gedman do against the very war-torn McLaren?
Fighting that steering wheel to keep that Porsche on the tarmac for cops. And so you say about aerodynamics, a lot of these cars don't have the luxury of taking cops flat like you would in the F1 cars.
Gedman looked like he's sizing Revel.
Is off at Maggots and Beckett's. So that now moves Revel up a few places in his class.
Krivek does join okay, but then is slow on speed as Mulnix is up next to him.
I think it was quite a tasty rejoin as G Brown was right there.
Yeah, Mulnix looking for a move around the outside into Stowe. Krivek bows out. As Ronda on a move into Richings as they come round club corner. Oh, it's 3 wide as Richings goes around the outside and the cone goes absolutely flying. It's 2 by 2 with Ronda right in the middle. And Ronda exits that sequence behind. Revel doing well to still keep Gedman behind him for now. He's inherited a few positions through a lot of the drama.
I'm going to touch there, buddy, a little bit further on, not quite sure, but Sturman and Clayton and then Grace had a bit of a switch around in the loop there down the straight. I thought I saw a bit of flashing from Clayton.
Antonori is going around the outside now, inside of Sterneman into Luffield. Can he get any sort of a drive through Woodcote? Sterneman does hang it a bit wide, but does hold the speed out there. With Prentice closing in, not too far behind.
Richlin's going for a dig in the mud. Not quite sure what happened there, but he still seems to be going the right way, which is good to see.
Antonori showing his nose
taking fastest lap at the moment, just to give you guys reference. A 1:59.8 at the moment, the fastest lap is.
And Simon seems to have warmed his tyres up a fair bit now. Is back on Sween, the man who took pole initially by such a great margin. Just seems to have to be easing to this race.
Well, Prentice goes very all over the back of Antonori there. Just going to be in touch there, buddy. He was practically pushing the Ferrari down straight. He's going to let round the outside. Very brave round Stowe there.
Or does Antonori just keep it for now? But Prentice looks for a move down the inside, going into the club. Can Prentice get a switch back? No, just lets that rather large nose of the Lamborghini drift him out and wide. Couldn't keep it cut to the inside of Antonori.
I don't want to be that guy again, but that was the wrong corner.
Simon trying to throw it into the loop.
Oof.
As he's picking up quite a slipstream once again. Sween onto the Wellington straight. Side by side they go. Simon's going to have the advantage of the initial part of the corner, but Sween keeps it pinned round the outside, matches his braking, places his car perfectly for Luffield. Yeah, this is great defensive work. Simon goes wide. Sharp throws himself to the inside for Woodcote.
Sharp's got a great run here.
He might get both of them. Ooh, not quite, but I reckon he will get Simon. He's going to have to be very committed into cops. Brilliant move by Sharp, taking advantage of Simon's fight with Sween.
So now the fastest lap has now been taken by Damrat, which is now a 1:59.2. Massive improvement there.
So we go back on board with Gedman, who's still chasing down Revel, who's now 5 seconds off the pace of the leading pack. The damage he's occurred both in real life and on his car really hindering him, but he's putting in the defensive work to keep Gedman behind. What can he do? Down the hanger straight. He's moved out quite early from the slipstream. He might want to pick that back up. Goes from the outside to the inside. Gets his braking done well. Recovers the line. It's a long time still to survive for Revel.
Great move there from Brown into Stowe. Just watched him down the straight pick off a Porsche. That's straight line speed of the Bentley. We now got Crevette diving down the Porsche into Vale, rounding Club, trying to get the traction for Club. Side by side. Oh, I think he's got a bit of a run off there, a bit naughty.
Which is rejoin. Yeah, just ahead of Monix. Oh, he does get the Porsche in the end. I do wonder if that he's in.
I think that might be a bit naughty. I think, yeah, he's going to give the position back, which then has invited
Monix into the party. Monix has taken 2 for free. Cheeky.
Checking.
Yeah,
it's all those shifting around has given Brown a good little breathing space there.
We've got Fleury in the BMW, so showing his nose to Naisbitt, going into Brooklyn, sorry. Now Luffield.
So the fastest lap did jump from Sween, from Damrat. It's now back to Damrat. And the time for the fastest lap is... if the timetable... Oh! Commentator's curse! Damrat's into the wall!
Oh, I just see him. It's just in the corner of our picture. Yeah, he's left his McLaren looking quite like Kyle's. Let's see if he can get up and going. He's got cars to his right hand side of Antonori and Prentice. Is he going to fight this with the extreme inside line that he has taken? Antonori cuts off Prentice into Stowe.
A 1:58.6 is the fastest lap at the moment from Damrat. I don't think he's going to be doing anything more with that massive collision he had with the wall.
Now with Simon pushing so hard on Sharp, that's allowed Din to close in on Simon at the front.
So Gedman is still trying to eye up the back of Revel down the Hamilton
straight.
Also
just caught Kravik diving on the inside of Naisbitt. He's got that one done, and even further back from that, Fleury on Coppens. Out of club corner.
For a big dive there. Grave trying to join the back of it as well. Into Village. Now the loop. Kyle putting his absolute best defence on there, getting his elbows sharpened and stuck out onto both parts of the track there.
And that's invited Ronda at the back. And I think Grafe was massively fast off the loop. Oh, as Ronda has to avoid.
We are at the halfway mark, still a long way to go.
Right at the back, we've got Omran eyeing up Lilleholt. He goes for a little bit of a dive. Door gets closed. Coppens then opens it up. And Omran gets through very, very smart on the brakes. There's Damrat now allows a bunch of people to come past him as he goes into the pits to fix the damage. Promotes Revel. Opens a P10 when he comes round. There's quite a big gap now from the top 10 to P11. Gedman eyeing him up again, but just is lacking that straight line speed. I reckon if he's going to make this position up, he's going to have to do something brave in the corners.
Yeah, because I think that's where he's struggling the most. I say this is where Carl also is going to be vulnerable. Oh, gets very close to the back of that McLaren there, which then invites Grafe back in once again. It's like deja vu from last lap. Gedman not as close as he was last time down the Hamilton straight. He was pushing that McLaren round into Abbey. Say Revel had the inside line. Oh, Gedman have a bit of a slip there on the exit of Abbey on the grass through Farm.
No, allows Grafe to come around the outside, but then Grafe takes a bit of grass as well. Dive down the
Big
inside,
break
almost
there,
misses
Gedman.
Revel.
Switchback.
Very smart from Gedman, wasn't deterred by watching Grave take the initial position. But what can Ronda do with all the action on ahead? Ronda does get a good drive, puts himself on the back of Grave, drives away, but I think the Ford Mustang, with all its grunt, will pull away now. I don't think he's been hindered too much on the pull away. Ronda's flashing, he wants the position.
Oh, might have been a track limit there, but so the drivers, even though they're in different classes.
Sorry, Retro. It's Simon around Cops, going for the inside, stuck in the inside of the shot, but now Din has blocked him, stopping him from coming back over to the left-hand side. Simon just about slots in.
Oh, can Sharp keep it on track? Yes, he can.
Slightly less optimal line. Will this benefit Simon? Down the hanger straight. Sweeney is just edging himself away now with all this action going on behind him. Din doesn't quite have the traction to get away there. Maybe he didn't get his line right. Through Chapel was shot. Oh, defends heavily out to the curb. Doesn't deter Simon though. He gets a cut back, but he's going to be on the outside for the next corner.
Great drive into Vale now. This cheeky left-right turn. Better traction. Who can get it? Simon's got a great line there. Can he keep it pinned for Club?
A lot of drivers have tried it around the outside here. Sharp doesn't try and keep his foot pinned. It slots in.
He's now got Din on the back of him through Abbey now.
Or Simon takes a bit of grass on the inside there.
Oh, Sween's gone off. Sween's gone off. Oh,
and then
no.
he hits Din, and now he's round.
No. Oh, that's unfortunate. I didn't quite see it. I was too busy fixated on the car battles. I just see his McLaren come straight towards the tarmac there. Oh, that's unfortunate. Sween with the fastest lap that was leading this race won. Now Simon is now back in the lead. Sharp P2, Din P3. Din did very well there to rectify the carnage from the rejoin from Sween there. Which now has invited Clayton into the mix as well.
So just picking up Molnix, who's very close to the back of G Brown now. Molnix showing his nose, but as soon as it comes out the slipstream of that Bentley, it's bye-bye. Brown going a little bit deep. Can Molnix maybe work on a bit of a switchback to get an early drive? Oh, but no, Molnix twitch of the nose, loses out.
So just got to put this guy, so you may be in different classes, but you are not forced to concede a position. You are fighting for overall as well as class. So if you are fighting a faster driver, prove it that you are faster or want bragging rights.
Let's see that competitive edge. As into Stowe goes Clayton, shows his nose to Grace. Just warming him up, prepping him for the overtake. Well, thank you everybody for joining in. 15 watching at the moment. Fantastic to see everybody tuning in to the action. Cars starting to settle in now with only 5 minutes left. Oh, as I think we've had a car through the grass, through the Hamilton straight. Maybe Antonori, maybe Sterneman.
I'm not quite sure, buddy. Didn't quite see it on my end, just flicking through the pack to see what juicy battles we've got going on. It's all spicing up these last couple of minutes.
So maybe people just settling in, maybe letting the last few laps just be quite settled before they launch a final assault on the last lap.
Revel is doing very well to hold off Gedman, still hanging on to that P2 in class.
Oh, as we see Ronda in the background going very defensive on Grafe. So nothing happening just yet in that battle. I wonder if frustration is going to start settling in for Gedman now. I reckon he thinks he should have had this done a long time ago with the demons that Revel is fighting.
Well, let's hope that tennis ball yellow stays yellow and doesn't become red with rage. As we see Gedman getting a bit of a snap and a drift in Cops there, but doesn't seem to upset the car too much.
Or if you have a drive-through for car 22,
And that
that's
is
Handley.
Handley in P14 at the minute.
So I can only presume he's picked that up. Exit of cops. Let's go with car 41, who's off track in Maggots.
Molnix.
Oh, as Ronda gets very close to the back of Gedman there.
Oh, I just saw it on the stream. Wow, that was very close.
So only a lap or two left now. The stakes are high as they're going to be in race 1. Clayton doing very, very well to hold on to Grace. He's only about half a second behind. Game's still on for this position. And the podium is pretty much set with the gaps they've established. Oh, his Sterneman is glitching out a little bit. Hope that doesn't affect Antonori too much in his approach to the corners.
Nearly pressed the wrong button there and reported one of our drivers. That'd be a shame.
Oh, as we have Gedman finally going for the move on the inside. No, doesn't get it.
Oh, Rebel's gone really deep trying to fend him off. But now has got the inside for Luffield.
But I think
Trying to
Gedman's going to have his
send Gedman
party
round the
ruined by Ronda here. Ronda who's going to go
outside,
up the inside.
Oh,
Gedman
big
twitches
snap.
out wide. Gedman's going to pick up the power again nice and early. Rounds Woodcut fairly even. Revel will be licking his lips at this, watching the two guys behind him fighting tooth and nail. And Gedman's going to just lose out on this one. Gets over the curb. He's going to find himself on the inside for the next turn. But now gets edged out by Ronda. What a turn up for the books. Gedman, who spent so long battling Revel, thinking he's only going to go forward, if not stay the same position, eventually loses out through frustration. Clayton and Grace still fighting on for this the second row positions. The Audi is only a GT4 car or GT2 car, if I'm aware, but yeah, no one uses it. It has no brakes. Prentice still close on Antonori. Further down the grid, not too much action. We've got Eden on Brown. Quite close, but no immediate moves looking like they're going to be made. The furthest battle up is Clayton on Grace. Clayton, who tries a deep inside line, doesn't seem to tuck his nose in.
Is there one more lap? Yeah, one more lap from the game director there, as Simon just crossed the start line. So this is going to be make or break for a lot of drivers now.
So one crucial battle that's still ongoing.
Sturman going at it.
Ronda has managed to pick up.
Ooh, 814 on-ram. Big yellow flags down the straight there, Wellington Straight. 572 Flurry as well. Both Beamers, funny enough, but nowhere near each other.
Huh.
Oh, we got Sween diving across Maggis and Beckett's there. Not quite sure what happened, but
Obviously a man who's very, very easy to understand his frustration after the command he took the lead, was dictating the race, and then just one error sent him tumbling down.
I think the stewards are going to be very busy after that incident, so I'm not quite sure what happened entirely, but so that rejoin, so I think Din got very lucky there to not lose out as much as he did.
So Clayton's
But so it would be a great time to advertise that the ticketing system has been revamped for stewards and incidents. So obviously if there's something that you don't quite agree with or want overturning or appealing, you can open it for debate with the stewards as well, which is quite nice to see, so you can have more of a in battle. But say the battles that we do have as well, Sween, Prentice, Antonori and Sternman coming round the loop. round.
So we'll be switching back to Rebels having to get very, very defensive on Ronda here. Ronda, who's inherited this position from Gedman, has shown just as much incentive as Gedman has done for several laps. But we are going to go on board with Simon, who started in pole, had to give it up just for a little while, but then bought his way back and does cross the line in P1, leading Sharp, Din and M. Grace, with Clayton, who couldn't quite get past the end. Sturman cuts the inside in front of Antonori Prentice, and Sween, who's very frustrated, in P9. Revel, who's a bit further back, got Ronda for company.
Very lucky there, Revel, to not cut off Ronda and get spun on the corner of Luffield there.
And does very, very well to defend those two drivers that were giving him a lot of attention throughout the race. And Gedman, Grafe, Eden, Naisbitt, Mornix, about to cross the line. But we will prime ourselves as we watch the last of the cars around the corners. We are in very short order joined by Mr. Gordon Brown, one of the admins of FRL and racing this evening, who was just chasing Revel and Ronda to the line. I'm just going to let him set up his car for race 2, and then he'll be with us to talk you through what's to come.
Quite exciting, really. All the chit chat and the chin wag, all the juicy stuff that obviously only the admins know, and we have the great pleasure of giving you some sneaky spoilers.
Absolutely. So all cars parking up now, and we'll have. And here he is, the man himself, is the Gordon Brown. You had quite the exciting race, didn't you, buddy?
Hello everyone, how you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Yep, that was interesting into turn 1. I don't know what happened. It looked like Revel was facing sideways at the apex, and I had to move left.
Yeah,
I go left on a right hand corner. What happens? It's like a sandwich and involved in an accident. So I need to see the replay. I've not seen it yet.
Yeah, I didn't quite see it myself, buddy, but I saw all the carnage in the background and just cars just absolutely everywhere. But main thing is most of the drivers got through unscathed and majority of them finished as well. So it's great to see.
And it's good that you had the action to obviously keep you entertained for those 20 minutes. But you're here to give us a lot of information about what's to come. So yeah, fire away. We can't wait to hear from you.
Yep. So yeah, done a lot of work in the background. So there's 2 things I wanted to briefly bring up. Next season, late night Thursday, is going to be split into 2 tiers for the first ever time. But we're also going to have run alongside that an overall championship. So very similar to Sundays, where we have 2 tiers in the server, but there's going to be a championship where the pro, or the tier 1 and tier 2 will also be competing with each other. So that's the first thing. The second thing that we've looked to put in, and this came off the back of a lot of feedback from a lot of drivers, we need the grids packed out again. So we've been tracking everyone's results over the season, and the idea is that we're going to have tiers of up to somewhere in between 35 and 40 drivers for Tackle Tuesday next season. It may only be 1 or 2 tiers, but the idea is we'll pack the grids out, we'll get full grids again, and it'll be much more fun for everyone to be involved with.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, but I think it's definitely more enjoyable when the grid's more packed, to try entice people to stay the full length of the race, because to be taken out lap 2, lap 3 or whatever, and you still got 55 minutes left, but you're still ahead of a couple of people. Just get your head down and just try and get those cars a couple of points.
Well, that's exactly it. It's to try and make sure you've always got yourself a dance partner, so to speak.
Yeah.
There's always somebody you're going to be battling with. So that is the plan for next season. Don't know when they're going to be out yet, the sign-ups. Likely at some point for Patreon supporters, somewhere in between week 8 and week 9 possibly. We've also got the Race of Champions. I don't know if you've heard much about it. I think you guys have actually, one of you are actually commentating for it.
We are both.
Yeah, we both are. Yeah, representing the FRL for Race of Champions. Of course we are.
Yeah, so Race of Champions, if you've not watched not know anything about it. When is it? Is it next Monday? Not this Monday, next Monday.
I believe so, yeah, the 1st.
1st of September, okay.
I think,
so
I'll have to
basically-
double check dates exactly, but...
It's in my calendar.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So yeah, it's basically the top drivers from around sim racing, from SimGrid, basically. But FRL, I believe, is hosting it, so that's going to be something very exciting to watch. Yeah, I don't know much more about it, but I'll be tuning in to this channel to give it a watch, I think.
So yeah, as ever, anybody who's got any expanding questions on that, drop them in the comments, and I'm sure either Gordon here or one of the other admins will absolutely fill you in with more lengthy details, and we'll get that out to you. Get you invited if you're not in the Discord already, or obviously we can feedback to you in the Discord if you're already there.
Yeah, super. Yeah, that's exactly it. Race 2. What do you? Any predictions from you guys? I know you're meant to be in part.
I don't know, so race 2 was quite interesting, say... I think the battle in the silver category was more exciting for P2 and P3. Sternman kind of got away with P1 after all the carnage from turn 1, and say Revel's wheel had reset, so his settings have defaulted, and he put an absolute defensive class on Gedman, so the fight for, say, P2 was more exciting than P1. No disrespect to Sternman, but obviously he kind of got a free ticket to a win. Fantastic for him. So, but it's all on for the pro tier. Say we had Sween dive off farm, cut across the track, rejoin the track, then hit another driver rejoining, and it was all getting a bit too spicy. But say now a 40-minute race, it's anyone's game, buddy.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it myself. I'll hopefully try and make it round turn 1 this time.
We'll be watching you in your Dayglow Bentley, don't worry, mate.
Yep, it's almost like it's that colour for a reason.
Yeah.
Look at me!
It's funny enough that you're still not the brightest car on the grid. There's a Mercedes of is it BTK? We've got optic white Mercedes, which really also made it so I can't see it so bright.
Yeah, you'll definitely see it now as well as it gets darker, because it's going to end up dark, I believe, by the end of this race.
Oh, just a quick one, buddy. We've got JPTV in the comments on the stream. Is Gordon a Toon fan by any chance? If yes, tell him away from the lads from JP Greenwood.
Yes, he is. He is indeed, actually. That's my English team.
Yeah.
You can't see this right now. I'm sitting on my stream with a Scotland top on, so...
Quality.
So Newcastle's the closest team to me.
That's fair enough. Shame it's not a better one, eh?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think I'll let you go. I've got a minute to load my site up, so I'll jump back on.
Yeah. Alright, buddy, best
I'll
of luck.
see you again at the end of the race.
Yeah, see you then.
Cheers.
What a lovely man.
Yeah.
But yeah, as he goes, he's going to drop in. He's going to make sure he's got last of his settings set up, and he's going to give this another whirl at 40 minutes over the 20 that's already taken place. The grid has been
just
reset.
to make sure he's going to get his spray paint nicely adjusted, so he's just as bright for us.
I couldn't quite tell if there was an offended undertone when I told him there was a car on the grid lighter than his.
No, not quite yet. But say no, we do have 30-second warning from race director there to say the drivers can now hit drive to get ready to start their formation lap. The grid has been reset to where they qualified, not where they finished from race 1, so it's interesting to see where Revel now has another crack at trying to fend off Sturman for the win and not get absolutely murdered into turn 1.
I think with the issues that he's experiencing, he's probably just going to be considering beating Prentice as his closest rival in the championship.
Yeah, so it wasn't that much of a gap, I believe. Well, it was actually for silver tier. The closest person that Revel has in the standings at the minute isn't here. We don't have Tabbers this evening. We don't have Rogers this evening. We got... Oh no, we do have S. Grafe. So S. Grafe is currently P4 in the standings with 274 points, and Revel is 324 points.
So he's just thinking about maximum points scoring then. There's nobody actively probably just...
Well, yeah,
needs
that's
to
from
push down.
P4 to P1, but if Grafe really wants to capitalise on this, he's only 6 points away from Rogers, and only a further 14 points away from P2. So if Grafe gets a good result here, he could see himself in the top spots. I mean, he's going to anyway from race 1, depending on where he finished in race 1. So fingers crossed for Grafe there, he can make some great points. I think it might get a little bit dark this race. Looks a bit dingy. Oh, as I flicked onto Din. No, I don't mean you, Din. You're quite bright, but you're not quite Neapolitan anymore. But I mean it's dingy as in the sky looks a bit dingy. Track still says optimum, but I'm not quite sure if it's going to get a bit more darker than what it is.
So I've just had to drop into drive just because I'd lost my controls momentarily. But I will make sure to swap back ASAP. So we have a lovely view of Simon coming down the Hamilton Straight.
Just get a quick drink to make sure we stay hydrated, because commentators matter.
Must say my Coke can's no longer cold from the fridge. It's very much room temperature. This is what we do for you, you avid esports fans.
Yeah. I think I did that once. I think I got a drink from the fridge, and when I went up to a room, I think I must have left it on the radiator or something. And the radiator was on, it was horrible. I opened it, it just exploded everywhere. But I think the one time I went to a shop to buy some chocolate, come back, left the chocolate bar behind the PlayStation, it just melted completely from the PlayStation 3 takeoff noise. It was overheating so bad. But I picked it up, put it in the freezer, and it froze in the shape of a ball. So it's even better than the bar.
The thing was 90s babies and having to use PS3s to heat our houses.
Saves so much on the heating bill.
just shifting the blame.
Quite a few drivers getting a bit friendly with each other there inside each other's cars. So hopefully they're not going to be inside each other another person's car on the start, but
restraining orders can be issued after the race.
I can't say that. We do have the drivers now coming down the start line. Simon getting nice on the inside.
As they do manage to fit all the cars after Woodcut. And we're going to get 5 green lights very, very soon.
Green light.
And away we go.
Oh, 369 got a drive through Antonori.
Not a disaster, but we do seem to be away much cleaner this time. We're still on board with Simon until... But Damrat flying through ahead of Din and on the back of Sharp straight away. Simon getting a much cleaner getaway this time. As they head through Maggott, Beckett, through Chapel. And yeah, what a lead he's already undertaken. Very much more controlled this time around. A long stream of very well controlled cars as now the timing screen finally does update itself.
Not quite. Oh, there we go.
It was working on it. As we go down the path, Sharp has just thrown his nose at Simon. Simon, who looked quite a commanding lead straight away. Was Rebel on the inside of Sterneman. Come on, as the Hamilton Straight, Sterneman goes off track and wide, keeps his foot planted.
Not quite sure if
Keeps
we
Revel
gave him a little tap from Revel there, but
And Rondo was looking for a move on Revel as well. Revel now with fixing half his problems with not a broken car.
oof. Revel getting very close to the back of Sturman there. Definitely got a bee in his bonnet
There's
from
Kravik,
race 1.
goes deep. Mulnix looks for a move round the outside.
Oof.
Oh,
Cars
is he still
everywhere.
there?
Car 572, Flurry, jump back to the pits. Car 211.
Oh, it's Kravik and
BTK.
Mulnix bash on the Wellington straight, but they're still side by side. What's going to happen when they turn in? Kravik takes the lead there.
What's another McLaren off just in
Oh,
front?
as
Is that
Ronda goes
Ronda?
round and he slams straight into the side of Prentice.
I think that was a naughty rejoin there. Might have to see that in the steward's room.
There's Richings up the inside of Gedman. Gedman's still there, but behind.
Simon's got a lovely lead at the minute.
Leaving those behind him to fight once again. McLaren on McLaren on McLaren. Sharp choosing an inside line as he comes through Chapel. As they get a little tap of rear wheels, that's going to invite Sweeney into the mix. Sweeney now places his car towards the inside of the two cars, gets the slipstream off Sharp, but he's going to have to pull out eventually before Damrock closes him in. We're going to go. Oh no, he's decided not to go three wide into Stowe and then has to fend off Din.
We had
As they go
Revel
to the
side by side into Stowe in Sternman on the inside, forces Sternman late on the brakes. Revel gets the move done into Vale. Oh no, Sternman's just hit him and spun him. Or unfortunately, I think the Ferrari of Eden did rightly spin Revel back round again.
And then Prentice, there's a little bit of a tap on Eden.
This domino effect is all over the place.
So a lot of battles going on this time round. No huge gaps occurring. Eden on the back of Prentice showing a lot of interest, but then Kravik and Prentice dicing still. Mulnix, who had a bit of a bash with Kravik on the Wellington straight last time round, isn't quite side by side with him this time. Oh, well, Eden on Prentice. Prentice has gone very defensive down the Wellington straight. Eden switches to the outside. Prentice is going to get this braking done nicely though. Can Eden look for a switchback? No, Prentice goes well over the curb and gets a very good line into Luffield. And Simon has just checked out. Nearly 3.5 seconds is the gap to those chasing him.
Definitely a man on a mission.
Sterneman, who's leading the silver tier at the moment, within a second of Clayton. If he can put one of these pro drivers in between him and the two silvers behind him, that would really be beneficial to his race.
So I think Sterneman's now got to be careful. So if that is going to be an incident that's going to be reported from Revel, so he's got to do the best he can to try avoiding place dropping later on.
Well, we've got Gedman, who just made Ronda go a bit defensive. Damn, Sweeney and Sharp, super close.
Car 814 Omram once again off circuit.
Letting Antonori through.
Damrat Sharp and Sween going at it.
Sween
Top.
looking for a move around the outside of Damrat. Damrat got very punchy last time around down the Wellington straight.
So if Grace can speed up a little bit, it's going to be McLaren, Porsche.
Britain versus Germany. Oh, on the wartime field. Everything I just said is factual.
Oh, Sween have a bit of a moment there, which invites Damrat for a great run. Doesn't quite get a move though, but does close quite significantly.
Very controlled driving so far by all those
Damrat,
inhabiting the
big
top
slide
20.
there. Big slide from Damrat. Does well to keep it on the tarmac, but Din couldn't quite capitalise on the sliding of the McLaren.
With so many shared constructors here, not much advantage is really being found on the straights. So we're going to have to come down to driver skill. Clayton is in range here to throw a move on Grace, but he's got cars ahead of him that might block his progress.
Oh, Din getting a touch to the curb there through Vale. Now rounding club. Battle of the Porsches.
Well, for a moment there, it looked like Grace was going to have a move up the inside, but then traction supported Din on the outside. But then Clayton switches to the inside of Grace. It's a late dive.
Backs out of it.
Backs out at the last moment. Very, very last moment. That's invited Sterneman.
Yeah, he's there as well. Battle of the pink and purple Porsche. The pink and purple Porsche had a race. Oh, I'm going to get copyrighted for that.
You had one job, Retro. One job.
Oh, hello. We've got Lily Holt making some good moves on Coppins there. Oh no, we've got the McLaren that's just rounded the Porsche. That's unfortunate. I think that was Naisbit that did come into contact.
This this push from Sterneman on Clayton is no joke. He's all over him.
So the fight for the couple of places, Sterman is losing time to Brown and Revel behind. So he needs to try dispatch some of these pro drivers in between his battles or get caught up himself.
Sween ever moving on sharp, but Simon is getting so far away now.
The fastest lap at the moment is being held by Simon, which is a 58.7.
Grace in striking range of Din, who's just dropped off the back of Damrat. Now giving us up a gap for cars to aim themselves into if they're looking for an overtake. Revel not letting go of Brown behind. I think he's just hoping at this point that Brown takes him up to the back of Sterneman. Oh, but there he goes. There goes Revel. He's managed to pull up the outside. Would he go for the cutback? Into the loop.
Tries going for a switchback. Doesn't quite get the power down. Against Brown to that big barge of a Bentley there.
Oh, but then Brown has just, I think, understeered a little bit wide. But then once he gets the car straight, that Bentley just... something off.
Yeah, it's just an absolute track presence, that beast. Sween is still not letting Sharp go. Damrat is still also on the back of that. Din has dropped off slightly.
Oh, Damrat, it's a great run. Looks for the outside of Sween. Into Maggots.
Oof.
It was really on for a moment. Now he's just going to regain his composure. Set himself up the hanger straight.
The McLaren three-way now. Who's got the better top speed?
All of them. Yeah, completely equal down the straight as expected.
Sween getting a bit wide. Oh, that's going to be a limit for Sween there. Damrat nearly followed him.
We've missed it, but Revel has got ahead of Brown. Up into P9, he can now go chasing back Sterneman. Now elbows really will be sharp when he catches up with him. They have been catching up with Sterneman the last few laps until they engaged in the battle.
Just so Revel can keep his head and keep it clean for an overtake. Obviously losing the position earlier from a spin from Sterneman, so hopefully he can keep his head and keep it clean, improve. That's why he's winning the silver tier just by track.
Oh, as Grace has to go very defensive, swerves in front of Clayton, but then Grace switches back. He goes round Din, and then Din loses out. And that's a great bit of movement from Grace there. Can Clayton take advantage of Din being put offline? He does switch to the inside, pulls out the slipstream, switches almost back over to the grass. Doesn't make any advancements there. It's Brown now overtaken by Eden and Prentice. Do wonder if he's picked up any damage. So many tight battles on track, apart from that P1 to P2. Simon just edging about a few tenths every lap to Sharp. As we are currently third place in the race.
Revel to Sturman is coming down. It was 1.8 before the start line. It's now 1.6.
Sturman really hoping that this pack hurries along. This is definitely slowing him down. You can see him having to get on the brakes that a little bit earlier in this pack. Revel taking absolute chunks out of him. Sturman's starting to get impatient.
You've got Naisbitt and Lilyholt towards the back there. P19, P20 having a bit of a joust down the
Lilyholt
straight
off track at Cops.
Naisbitt seems to be doing a bit of flashing there. It's not sure if he's got damage. Oof, Naisbitt having a bit of a snap there, which then invites Hanley back.
Is there going to be a cut back on the exit? Oh, all cars off track there. And Sonori, who's dropped quite far back here from his usual positionings, are on that P8, P9. He's fighting for the last of the...
Oh, can I interrupt you there, buddy? Din and Clayton going at it. Clayton went for a defensive there and Din followed him. Looks like he's avoiding contact there.
Clayton
Din
pinching him
back.
back.
Great move.
Clayton keeps it on the inside for the exit of Luffield. Oh, Stinneman behind, and a huge snap. That's going to invite Revel up behind him. Look at the closing speed of Revel. He's all over him as they come into Cops. Yeah, that gap has come down by almost 2 seconds in the space of a lap and a half. Sturman now desperate to get past Din. Goes wide, gets on the grass.
Oh, the grass.
What can that do for Revel? He'll have lost speed. As he gets the flashes out. Revel attempts around the outside. Can't get it done there. Goes off track. Oh, and then has to avoid. Pushes to the outside. Once his through goes Hamilton moment. He's pushing him along through club.
He's got to keep it clean because this win will be for nothing.
Oh, they're darting left and right, giving as much as they're getting back, but seem to settle down now as they come into Village and the loop. Oh, as Rebels punted him.
Why
as he waits, I think he recognises his error and he's let him go, but wants to rejoin ahead of Grafe.
It's not ideal to stop on track there.
I think he was just enough offline. Now Grafe in that Mustang might well take a dive here. Oh, Revel covers it off. Now that's one apiece between the two of them. Sturman and Revel have had a punt in a corner each. But we go back towards the front. Damn right. Sween and Sharp separated by less than half car length here. What's more impressive, not so much the fact that all the cars have got some performance, it's the fact that they are as I was about, commentators curse about to say, they're all matching each other in terms of how they're driving, but then Damrat takes a nip over the chapel grass. The Sturnament now rejoined battle. What was behind sort of Prentice and Eden now is behind Kravik. Further down the grid, we've got Antonori on Handley. He's been trying this one for quite a while. Two cars that I think are relatively out of place, but similar in pace to one another. Antonori goes the inside, down the hanger straight. Can he get it on the brakes? Can he get turned in ahead? Yes, he can. Both cars keeping it on track. Round Vale. Round Club Corner, and out they go down the Hamilton Straight. Grave has just dropped off the back of Revel. He's invited Mornix to come and have a go at him. So he might have an opportunity here to pay a bit more attention to Sharp instead of defending from Damrat. He's not going to get a better opportunity than this, because I reckon Damrat is going to close this up quite quickly with the pace that's been shown. Further back from them, Din on Clayton is sitting at half a second, has been for a little while. As they come to Maggott and Beckett, Din and Clayton. Sternman, it's definitely come up to the back of Kravik. Revel, potentially with a bit of nose damage, is struggling to make up the same gains he did previously. Brown very much sitting an entity by himself in P10 at the moment. Seems to have the measure of Kravik. But what can he do if Sternman comes through? He has been showing better pace than those around him currently. It's appearing quite a settled part of the race now. Drivers thinking, well, maybe
50% marker now during the race. The drivers are getting settled in. The pack's starting to spread out a little bit.
So I just picked up Antonori, who's quickly found himself on the back of Naisbit. They're going to try and make a move. Doesn't try it through Abbey. As he enters the loop, pokes his nose to the outside, looks for a cutback. Naismith covers it off well.
I think maybe Sternman's getting caught up in this battle in front, but Revel has taken half a second out of him from sector 1 to sector 2.
So Mornix has picked up a very, very good exit there through Woodcut. Now, will there be a move through Cops?
Handley has jumped back to the pits, or was already in the pits, so that's a yellow flag.
So I'm going to stay on board with Mornix here, because he's been closing corner by corner in a very measured way. Takes a bit too much curb in the first part of Maggots. And down the hanger straight he goes. This though is where I think the Mustang's power will take hold and re-neutralise this battle. Even the top cars have now spaced themselves out to over a second.
It is coming down. Rebel's taking another 10th out of Sterneman.
In terms of tight on-track battles, back towards about Antonori, having had passed Lily Holt a while back, now starting to carve through what he considered more to be back markers. Naisbit is relatively defensive, pulls away from the curb quite sharply. So fly through Abbey, staying relatively composed. Let's take a little bit of curb on the entry into village. Always Grace gone a little deep into Luffield. Mulnix is going to be picking his line nicely here to see if he can get the drive that might match the Mustang's power. No, not really. It wasn't quite enough of a big enough mistake from Grave. Revel with a bit of clean air now. Still chasing after Sterneman.
I think he lost a bit of time in the last couple of sectors, so it was down to 1.3. He went back up to 1.7, so he definitely lost a bit of time somewhere. Anyway, Sterneman's now just catching the back of the slipstream of the Ferrari.
So yeah guys, once again, if you like what you're seeing, you'd like to get involved, make sure to let us know in the comments and admin will reach out to you with a link to the Discord. FRL's got you covered for all your esports sim racing exploits. We do, as you can see, Assetto Corsa, there's of course Competizione, iRacing, GT7, Formula 1, you name it, if you can drive cars around it, FRL's got you covered. So many of the tiers are streamed. If you'd like to support us in the work that we do, you can join the Patreon. Discord's in the server once you've joined, or on the website, or if you'd like to, just message one of the admins in the comments. If you're liking what we're doing in the commentary, we Far From Retro Ghost are our names. Let us know, drop a like, drop a comment, drop a share, and get the good work out there.
Not about good work, but Revel's giving absolute hell to that McLaren there. Trying to get as much traction as he can out the corner. He dipped a weird off the curb. The car was bouncing and flailing all around. I don't think I remember doing that on Silverstone.
That's because your suspension, I imagine, is a fair bit softer than these.
It's the complete opposite.
Revel, despite that error, has dropped within a second of Sterneman, so it's net good work for him, and Sterneman has dropped off the back of Kravek. So I'm not sure who's done more work, Revel moving forward or Sterneman moving backwards, but the result is the gap is now 9/10.
Oh, as we see Revel cut across the grass there, the same as Sternum did a few laps ago.
Antonori still chasing down Naisbit, who's put up a good defence down in P19 and P20. And they're coming up to Richings in P18. So this could get spicy a little bit later on. This
Coppins has dived back to the pits. The very, very bright white AMG is in the pits.
Kravek is maintaining this 8/10 gap between him and Brown. But now we've settled in, the power cars amongst the grid are starting to establish themselves as train leaders. But I can't help but notice that Revel has put his nose right up the exhaust of Sterneman, and he's ready to give this round 3. Ding, ding, ding.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Revel ducks to the inside. He's giving himself the inside line, but backs out with Sterneman, swoops across. I think Revel saw that one coming. These two have given it as good as they can for each other. Potentially, they might report each other, or they might consider it to be cancelled out. I'm sure we'll find out and hopefully report back to you next week how that one turns out. Now he's got hold of him, he's not letting him go. Under 3/10. Revel a good Maggots and Beckett's. Can set himself up really nicely for the hanger straight. It's about as good as I've seen anybody take it so far today. But is it better than Sterneman? Appears perfectly equal. The gap maintains. She grows by 3/10. Maybe that's down to a bit of wing on Rebel's car. Pushing his car too far down on the straight. This is the closest battle on track at the moment, so we're going to stay on board. Say that actually, no. So Antonori has got past Richings and Naisbitt. But Naisbitt is going to look for a move on down the inside of Richings. Oh, as they touch into club. And that allows Richings to hold his line, disrupts Naisbitt and stays ahead for now. Naisbitt, who's lost the position to Antonori and Richings in the last sequence of laps.
There's a good train of cars in a minute, just sub a few seconds. You got Prentice, Din, Eden, Brown. A little bit way off yet. So you've got Krivek as well, Sterneman and Revel also as well.
Yeah, Eden definitely picking up the rear here. Prentice, I don't think got the best drive out of Woodcote. Eden's on his way. No, you've got to start asking yourself the questions: where do you back yourself on track? That's where you want to build up towards. That's where you're going to want to make your overtake if you can. But you've got to make sure you're in striking distance before you throw one. Prentice seems to get off Chapel just fine. Or is Brown weaving on the straight, trying to break free of Kravik?
I would say he's weaving, but he's nowhere near him.
Well, it'd be illegal if it was any closer, wouldn't it? Looks like the Ferrari of Eden is looking a bit more comfortable on the slow speed corners than Prentice. Prentice not feeling the need to go defensive just yet though. As we approach the final 10 minutes of the race 2, it's marginally deep, nothing too concerning. He tries to follow Din through onto the Wellington straight. Eden pokes his nose out a little bit, has a little look. Revel bringing the time back down again. Maybe just giving his car a little bit of a breather. I think Eden's starting to drive a little bit more aggressively behind Prentice. I think Brown is right to be concerned about Kravik, you know, Retro. He is closing in at certain sections of the lap.
Yeah, but so as he closes up, and so just that Bentley barge does pull away quite nicely. Speaking of Rep, he gets a great Maggots and Beckett's there. I don't think he's going to get a move done for Stowe, but the Bentley doesn't quite walk away from him as he has done the last few laps, but does close up quite nicely on the braking.
That's not to say that Prentice isn't keeping space to Din. He is. He's doing very well to hold this gap to Din. That might just be his saving grace as he tries to beat off Eden at the end of this race.
Still getting quite close to Brown.
You can start to understand why Brown was weaving now. I think he's seen this coming a few laps prior. Pravec looks to take a tighter line, doesn't spook Brown. He's driving fantastically, but I think that Bentley's making the difference at the moment for Brown. But if I head a little bit further back, what Molnick's chasing down Ronda. Both drivers have been in a bit of a wars this evening. So nice and easy through Cops and now into Maggots and Beckett's for this pair. But nothing too significant happening on the exit under the hanger straight, unless Mornix picks up a nice slipstream. And does just seem to be stepping away though, just by about a tenth or two. Kravitz can almost reach out and grab G Brown as he comes onto the Hamilton straight.
Oh, Molnick's getting very close to the back of Ronda there. Just trying to flick through the pack and see where you've got certain drivers, and so very good on the brakes there from Molnick's. Just rounding club now. Got Prentice and Eden closing up to the back of Din now.
Oh, it's Eden. Pulls out the slipstream momentarily, has a little look. Revel seems to have dropped off the back of Sterneman once again. His next attack, if he can build up to it, will be his final one. There's not that much time left. And that Molnix, who does seem to have a fair bit more car control at this moment in time than the McLaren of Ronda.
There's Simon doing very well, all out in front. 58.4, fastest lap at the minute. And he's not been forgotten.
Oh, his Dinner's picked up a drive-through.
Ooh.
This will release a whole bunch of people. Din was wide. It does look a defensive move.
I think he went wide to let the cars pass because he knows he's got the drive-through.
And that's him retiring, I believe. Back to the pits he goes.
Unfortunate.
That does promote everybody from P7 upwards, P7 downwards. Sorry. It gives Eden a place to slot his car if he wants to send a dive on Prentice.
I think Gravak is still trying to hang on to Brown.
They weren't able to re-puncture that second bubble on Sterneman. Oh, Kravec round the outside into Village. Takes a switch back. There's one switch back. Oh, he lets it go round the outside of the loop. Gets his nose cut off by Brown. I think that's as close as he's been to having that position. As Eden looks for a move around the outside of Prentice. Looks for the cutback. No cutback there.
So Antonori and Gedman still going at it. through village.
Antonori's been doing good work, bringing his car through the field. The Antonori. The retro can read the lap times. If you'd like to request any of them, I'll be sticking with the action.
Is there anyone in particular you'd like to see the lap times for, or just in general? Do let us know, buddy, and I can walk you through them. So the fastest lap at the minute is by M. Simon, our current race leader, who's absolutely checked out of this race. Fastest lap from him is a 1:58.4, but he only got purple sector 2, so he could improve on that time as well.
So he wanted the first of the pro, which is Simon, which you just read out. Yeah, Simon has been doing a fantastic job this evening. He's done every single lap perfect in race 2 after a very dramatic race 1. Brown takes the same defence on Kravik into village. Kravik taking the same attack on the switchback. Doesn't find a route round the outside. Just slots in behind.
And so where Kravik and Brown are going at it, it is allowing Sternum and also slightly Revel as well to try salvage some of the damage that both the drivers have thrown at each other this race too.
So I'm just going to cut in retro. We've got Clayton throwing absolutely everything that he can at Grace. Less than 4/10 is the gap, and he's taking absolutely every track limit possible to get close to Grace, ready for this onslaught that he's going to throw him into one of the heavy braking corners.
Oh, Kravik got very close to the back of Brown there. Had to use the runoff on the exit of Cops there. Very brave over the curve now. Kravik getting very, very brave.
So got Clayton with Grace going very defensive, swerves over to the left very quickly. And Clayton does match him on the brakes. What about a move into Vale? He's staying so close. Kravik looking like he's just backing off Brown just that little bit. Just staying committed to the cause.
I think if I'm right, there will be one more lap.
So in regards to that one, obviously it all depends on the settings of the server. So obviously in your individual practice it's probably optimum conditions, daytime, track's warmer, your fuel will be lower, your tyres will be less worn. So it's all relative to obviously the track and the conditions that you're undertaking. Obviously these guys are running 59s quite consistently. This is very high tier of racing. But obviously if you are looking to join FRL, there are lower tiers that you can join in with, which will be more appropriate to that sort of lap time.
So we do have from race control there, Simon has just started the final lap. Oh, Kravik has touched the grass. He needs to be very careful there rejoining. Kravik does get a snap.
And that's allowed Stinneman through, and Revel is also going to get through as well. May not be the move that he wanted, Revel. He wanted it on Sturneman, who's in his class, but he'll take the on-track position. I know Kravik is as well. I do apologise. Eden throwing his car at Prentice as the final lap of the race comes to a close. We still have battles ongoing.
I mean, without commentator cursing this could be absolutely sensational. G Brown, what's your predictions for race 2? I don't know really. He is provisionally on the way to win it in his class. But he's still got half a lap or so to do it with Sterneman hot on his heels.
I mean, Sterneman has shown this evening that he's willing to put it on the line for positions. I'm sure that's not what Brown wants to hear, but it's right there. It's within his grasp. As we pick up Simon, who's just rounding Luffield now. He's put an absolutely faultless race to. He was heavily hindered in race 1 but brought it back. This one has been much more of a masterclass. Simon crossed the line to take a double win in Sprint Super Sunday. Well done to him. And then we're going to be followed by Sharp over the line. Sween, who's shown great potential this
Grace
evening.
and Clayton trying to go at it in the last corner of Luffield. I think Grace does get the better drive. Ooh, Clayton seems to be flashing him, whether he's not happy or just congratulating him. G Brown does get the traction, does take the win for race 2.
Cinnamon and Revel comes across the line, does beat Kravik to it in the last few laps. Kravik, who was sitting quite high up early on. Grafe in his own little world leads Ronda over the line, followed by Mornix.
As you mentioned earlier, but it'd be interesting to see whether the Revel and Sterneman tit for tat will ensue in the stewards room. I say Revel gave the place back where Sterneman just carried on.
I'll be absolutely intrigued to hear that, how that one turns out, how it goes on to impact the championship, because that would be another position for Revel. I don't think Revel getting any additional penalties would affect his championship as greatly as it would affect Sterneman's. And Lily Holt will be the last driver to cross the line. Lap down, and there you go.
And we are joined by the silver tier race winner for race 2. How's it feel, buddy?
Really good, since this is the race I chose to come on afterwards. Really good.
You'd lined up all the stars.
I was just saying, would it be funny? Oh, what's your predictions for race 2? Oh, I don't know really. Well, you've just gone and won it, mate.
Yeah, it was interesting. I don't think I actually probably had it on pace, but I just kind of kept it on the island.
Doesn't matter, mate. Slow and steady wins the race.
Didn't want to jinx Revel. I think it was Sturman in front of me, but I definitely did. Just sitting there almost praying for the contact because I did not have the pace on them, but as soon as they ended up facing the wrong way, it was a matter of just keeping it going on a straight line. Shout out as well to Kravik. He was absolutely rapid, and just the power of the Bentley is the only thing that kept me ahead of him.
Yeah, it's maybe something that we might have mentioned a few times in the commentary, we're not going to lie to you. But no, it was a great battle to watch. The closing, the tit for tap in terms of your power and his commitment on entry into the corners was really great to watch, and he definitely kept you on your toes. That was obvious even from our angle.
Yeah, I was in a party chat and you should have heard everyone talking about the Mustang as well. The Mustang is looking ridiculous.
Yeah, the Mustangs didn't finish too well in the end. I'm not sure if they were hindered by a few things, but no, they were definitely the battles they were leading. They did very well in terms of keeping cars behind with the same power, just as the Bentley did. But I think on balance, I think the Bentley is probably the better car of the two from what we were able to observe in the comms box.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are we?
Very well, thank you, buddy. Yourself?
Not bad. That was a very, very good race.
Yeah, we enjoyed it very, very much, and I hope you guys enjoy watching it back.
I heard this is where the party's at.
This is.
We don't usually get this.
Yeah, so I think what we'll maybe start doing going forward, because we're trying to make sure you are comfortable in doing the comms, and then we can maybe you can pick someone if you like at random, like maybe the series winner or something, and invite them in.
Absolutely, we're more than up for that. Something we've done previously in other formulas and other racing. So yeah, I'm perfectly happy to do that for you, and hopefully all the audience that is still listening will enjoy that as well.
I know Gogs is probably in punting his new leotard embroidery business that he's starting, is that correct?
We've not heard that one, but that's on the airwaves now.
I mean, that does kind of put why his Bentley is day glow yellow to match the leotard when he gets it stitched.
It's all advertising.
He's now going to get Silverstone race winner on stitched on there as well now, is he?
Yeah.
That's it.
100%.
Yeah. With a little
we
boat
just
with a
thought-
Bentley barge.
That's it. Well, we just thought we'd pop in and have little bit of a grumble actually on air, because this Mustang is frighteningly fast in the straights and cumbersome in the
See?
corners, and it's making for a really good challenge in the series at the moment.
Well, I will rest assured, buddy, the Mustang for race 2 wasn't very cumbersome. It didn't do anything like it. It didn't do very well, so you were right for race 2.
It's really hard to get past it on the straights, man, for this track. You can
I think
be
it's kind of the
0.1
meta
next
for
to
this
it.
game, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like the bigger the car, the faster it is down the straight.
Let's just say in race 1 the Porsche prevailed. There was 5 Porsches in the top 3 for both classes.
Yeah, and then race 2, you've got your 2 down to 4, all McLaren, ended by a Porsche at the top, Porsche at the bottom of the top 5. And then we drop into a few Ferraris, McLarens, G Brown,
Lambos and a big boat.
and then a big boat.
A big glow yellow boat.
Aircraft carrier.
The only aircraft carrier in the grid.
People should be watching. They take note.
There is a couple more on Tuesdays, though, isn't there?
Think so. Yep.
A couple more psychopaths on a Tuesday, just only one on a Sunday.
Does
Well,
my
if you
head
talk
in
about
when
psychopaths, you definitely talk about me and Greg then.
we have to battle them with a Ferrari and a Lamborghini.
Right, gents, we'll leave you
Yep.
to it. But thanks very much again. Your comms have been fantastic this season. Just keep it up.
Yeah, thank
And
you very much.
We'll catch up with you next week. If you want to maybe, like I say, start talking to season or series winners, like maybe the top 2 in both classes, and that way the run up to it, the last 3 races, it's kind of a little bit more interesting. Or 2 races, sorry.
Absolutely. I mean, we also do a lot of stewarding in our spare time, so I'll make sure to get a stewarding edge on that as well. Not to replace you guys, but I like to find out what side of the law they think they sit
Yeah. He's got a cheat book for stewarding. Don't need to brag about it, Greg. Just throw it at him, alright?
on. But no, we'll get them, and we'll get them in. But thank you so much for joining us. It's really added to the stream.
Excellent. I'll speak
Perfect.
to you soon, gentlemen.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, take it easy, boys.
Yeah. So there you are, everybody. We've had a few extra people join us this evening. I hope you've all enjoyed it. It's been great to hear from those on the track as well as the ones just observing it. We'll see you all next week, same time. Once again, tune in at 8 o'clock for more Sprint Super Series Sunday for round 7. And yeah, we'll bring you all the action once again. So thank everyone that's joined us this evening. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, join the Discord, drop a comment if you want to get involved. We've got you all covered. And obviously, if you're already in with us, make sure you add to the Patreon. You guys much appreciate it. It keeps all the wheels turning nice and smoothly. But thank you very much, guys. Have a good night.
Yeah, take it easy.